Number 1 dodo, Rufus cucullatus. Native to the island of Mauritius in the Indian Ocean, the dodo lived in forests. After the arrival of Dutch sailors in the 1600s, the dodo became an easy target for hunters due to its inability to fly and its lack of fear of humans. Additionally, introduced species like rats, pigs, and monkeys preyed on dodo eggs. The species was declared extinct by around 1681. The dodo is one of the most famous symbols of human-caused extinction. Number 2, passenger pigeon, Ectopistes migratorius. Once inhabited vast forests in North America, from the Great Plains to the eastern United States. Passenger pigeons were hunted in enormous numbers, especially in the 19th century. Habitat destruction through deforestation also contributed to their extinction. Their social structure, which relied on large flocks, made them vulnerable when population numbers dwindled. The extinction of the passenger pigeon is considered one of the most dramatic examples of mass hunting leading to the extinction of a species. Number 3, great auk, Pinguinus impennis, lived along the coasts of the North Atlantic, from Canada to Europe, including Iceland and Greenland. The great auk was flightless, making it an easy target for hunters. It was hunted extensively for its feathers, meat, and oil. Its breeding colonies were destroyed, and the last known pair was killed in 1844. The great auk is often compared to the penguin. Though it is not related, it was one of the earliest birds to go extinct due to European exploitation. Number 4, Carolina parakeet, Conoropsis carolinensis. Found throughout the southeastern United States, this parrot preferred swampy forests and riverbank areas. Carolina parakeets were hunted because they were considered pests by farmers due to their habit of raiding crops. Deforestation also played a major role in their decline. Disease may have also contributed to their extinction. The last known bird died in captivity in 1918. It was the only native parrot species in the US, making its loss particularly significant. Number 5, Labrador duck, Camptorhynchus labradorius. This sea duck primarily lived along the Atlantic coast of North America, particularly in Canada and the northeastern US. The exact cause of the Labrador duck's extinction remains unclear. Overhunting and destruction of food sources, mollusks, and crustaceans are likely contributors. The last confirmed sighting was in 1878. The extinction of the Labrador duck remains one of the mysteries in ornithology, as it disappeared with little warning. Number 6, moa, various species. Native to New Zealand, these flightless birds ranged from forests to mountainous areas, depending on the species. Moas were hunted by the Maori people for food after they arrived in New Zealand around the 13th century. The moa population declined rapidly, and they were likely extinct by the late 15th century. Habitat destruction also played a role. Moas were among the largest birds ever to exist, with some species standing up to 12 feet tall. Number 7, heath hen, Tympanuchus cupido, inhabited the coastal plains and scrubby habitats in the northeastern United States, particularly in Massachusetts and New Jersey. Overhunting and habitat destruction led to the decline of the heath hen population. Attempts to conserve the species were unsuccessful, and the last known heath hen, named Booming Ben, died in 1932 on Martha's Vineyard. The extinction of the heath hen is one of the earliest examples of failed conservation efforts in the U.S. Number 8. Pallas's cormorant, Phalacrocorax perspicillatus. Native to Bering Island in the North Pacific, this large cormorant species lived along rocky coasts. The species was discovered by European explorers in the 18th century and soon after was hunted to extinction by Russian settlers and sailors for its meat and feathers. The last known sighting occurred in the 1850s. Its rapid extinction highlights how the introduction of human populations into isolated ecosystems can quickly devastate local wildlife. Number 9. Elephant bird, Epiornis maximus. Endemic to Madagascar, the elephant bird lived in forests and open habitats on the island. While the exact cause of extinction is debated, it's believed that human hunting, egg collection, and habitat destruction led to the demise of this giant, flightless bird. They were likely extinct by the 17th century. Elephant birds were among the largest birds to ever live, with some species weighing up to 1,100 pounds and standing up to 10 feet tall. Their eggs were enormous, the largest of any known bird. Number 10. Réunion ibis, Thresciornis solitarius, continued. Similar to the dodo, the Réunion ibis became extinct due to hunting by humans and the introduction of invasive species such as rats, pigs, and cats that preyed on its eggs. European settlers arriving on the island in the 17th century accelerated its extinction. The bird was gone by the early 18th century. Significance: the Réunion ibis, also called the Réunion solitaire, was one of the lesser-known extinct birds, related to other flightless birds from nearby islands like Mauritius. Its story is a reflection of how human colonization devastated the unique ecosystems of small islands. Number 11. Stevens Island wren, Traversia lyali. This small, flightless bird was native to Stevens Island, located off the northern tip of New Zealand. The Stevens Island wren was driven to extinction in the late 19th century, shortly after the island's lighthouse was built. Cats, introduced by lighthouse keepers, rapidly hunted the birds, which were defenseless due to their flightlessness. By 1895, the species was extinct. The extinction of the Stevens Island wren is one of the most infamous cases of human-introduced predators, causing the rapid extinction of an isolated species. Number 12. Huia, Heteroloca acutirostris. Native to the forests of New Zealand's North Island, the huia was known for its striking black and white plumage and the sexually dimorphic beak, with males and females having distinctly different beak shapes. The huia was hunted for its feathers, which were prized by both Maori and European settlers. Deforestation and the introduction of invasive species further contributed to its decline. The last confirmed sighting was in 1907. The huia is remembered for its beauty and cultural significance in New Zealand. Its extinction is one of the most tragic in the country's history. Number 13. New Zealand, little bittern, Ixobricus novaezelandiae. This small, secretive heron-like bird lived in the wetlands and marshes of New Zealand. Habitat loss through the drainage of wetlands for agriculture, combined with predation from introduced mammals, led to the bird's extinction in the late 19th century. The bird's shy nature made it difficult to study, and by the time its population was recognized as endangered, it was already too late to save. The New Zealand little bittern represents another example of how New Zealand's unique avian fauna was decimated by human activity and introduced predators. Number 14. Hawaiian rail, Borzana sandwichensis, continued. The Hawaiian rail likely became extinct by the late 19th or early 20th century due to a combination of habitat destruction from agriculture and development, as well as predation by introduced species like rats and cats. The last confirmed sighting occurred around 1884, though some unconfirmed reports were made later. Significance. The extinction of the Hawaiian rail highlights the vulnerability of island species to human activities and introduced predators, particularly flightless birds with limited defensive capabilities. Number 15. Dusky seaside sparrow, Amospiza nigrescens. This small songbird was found in the marshes of Florida, particularly around the Merritt Island and St. Johns River areas. The dusky seaside sparrow's habitat was destroyed in the mid-20th century by mosquito control measures, which involved flooding and draining marshes, as well as urban development. The population declined rapidly, and despite conservation efforts, the last known individual, named Orange Band, died in captivity in 1987. The dusky seaside. Sparrow's extinction is a modern example of how habitat destruction, even for public health purposes, can have devastating consequences for species that depend on specific ecosystems. Number 16. Ivory-billed woodpecker, Campephalus principalis. Habitat. The ivory-billed woodpecker was native to the swamps and forests of the southeastern United States and parts of Cuba. Extinction. Cause. Extensive logging in the 19th and early 20th centuries destroyed much of its habitat. Although there have been sporadic unconfirmed sightings, the species is presumed extinct due to habitat loss and hunting. Significance. The ivory-billed woodpecker is often referred to as the Lord God bird because of its striking appearance. It has become a symbol of lost wilderness in the southern U.S. and the destructive consequences of deforestation. Number 17. Guadalupe caracara, Caracara lutosa. Habitat. This bird of prey was endemic to Mexico's Guadalupe Island, where it lived in open habitats, preying on small animals and scavenging. Extinction. Cause. The species was driven to extinction in the early 1900s after being hunted extensively by farmers who believed it threatened their livestock. Habitat destruction, due to the introduction of goats, also contributed to its extinction. The last known individual was killed in 1900. Significance. The extinction of the Guadalupe. Caracara is an example of how species that are wrongly perceived as pests can be eradicated through human misunderstanding and excessive hunting. Number 18. Piopio, Ternagra capensis. Habitat. Native to the forests of New Zealand, the piopio lived in both the North and South Islands, thriving in dense, wooded areas. Extinction. Cause. Habitat. Destruction from deforestation, along with predation by introduced species such as rats, cats, and stoats, led to its extinction. The last confirmed sighting occurred in the early 1900s. Significance. The piopio's extinction reflects the broader impact of habitat loss and invasive species on New Zealand's bird populations, many of which have been driven to extinction due to human activities. Number 19. Spectacled cormorant, Phalacrocorax perspicillatus. Habitat. This large, flightless cormorant lived on Bering Island in the North Pacific. Extinction. Cause. The species was discovered in 1741 by European explorers and was soon overhunted for its meat and feathers by Russian settlers. The bird's population rapidly declined, and it became extinct by the mid 19th century. Significance: the spectacled cormorant's extinction demonstrates how the arrival of humans in previously untouched ecosystems can quickly decimate vulnerable species, especially flightless birds. Number 20. New Caledonian rail. This elusive bird lived in dense forests where it foraged on the forest floor. While little is known about the bird due to its rare sightings, the New Caledonian rail serves as a reminder of how species with limited ranges can easily disappear when their habitats are destroyed or altered, even without extensive human hunting.